Thank you very much, Program Director, Advocate Pindela. I think we're spending too much time together as SALSA, and I was just saying to him that actually he's already made the closing remarks. He's captured the essence of the issues that we would have wanted to make as the closing remarks. I had prepared a 20-page remarks for closure, because isn't it that we're supposed to go to lunch, come back and go to the games later at 3:30. So I thought I will not miss that opportunity to make these comments. I'll try to spare you all the details. I was just trying to cover the parts where I was stopped on Monday, you know, some of the things that, yeah, okay. But on a serious note, I think, colleagues, we have come to the end of a very successful seminar hosted by SALSA under the theme Building Stronger Legislatures 20 Years and Beyond. The seminar was a departure from previous seminars, in that, unlike previous seminars, you know, we did not have the AGMs that we normally have, and we've taken note of the points that was raised by some of the colleagues about, you know, important to also report on previous resolutions and so on. I do think that it could have been an omission on our, deliberate omission on our part, because of the nature of the issues we wanted the seminar to deal with, you know. But we will have an engagement with the fora, with the different forums, and also submit a progress report to all legislatures on the work that was done in the last seminar. I'm convinced that the seminar has achieved the objectives that we had set for ourselves. And just to recapture, the seminar was about highlighting transformational role of SALS in the last 20 years and beyond, to strategize towards realizing the vision of building a stronger legislative sector, ensuring that the development of the sector through shared knowledge. I think the inputs that, the quality of the inputs that have been made from the Speaker of KZN, the Deputy Speaker, Dr. Elizabeth Dostal, Mr. Bundi, and also Mr. Manuel, have given us a lot of you know, work that needs to be done. They first confirmed that indeed there is progress that has been made, but they've also identified several weaknesses that we need to embark upon if we are to take the legislative sector to a newer, different height. There must be no illusion that we have arrived at where we should be. Indeed, we have made significant progress in enabling members to fulfill their constitutional mandate. However, it is also clear that we need a radical transformation to take the sector to a higher level. And you know, the term radical, I know it's being used more often nowadays, but what radical means is that there has to be you know, a disruption. You cannot talk about radical if there's not disruption of the norm, of the things that you've been doing and how you've been doing them. So it means that there has to be a rupture in how we've been doing some of the things. And I think we'll capture just two of the key critical issues that we want us to live with from this seminar. or maybe let me just capture those key issues very quickly. One of them is that we need to ensure that we embed systems theory or systems thinking in all our institutions, within the sector and in all our institutions. We believe that this will be a great departure from a problem-orientated institutions and a sector to a sustainable solution-focused sector and institutions. So we need to be able to embrace systems theory and systems thinking. I realized that as colleagues were embarking on or learning for the first time the issues about systems thinking and working on their commissions, naturally there was a bit of resistance. It's a natural phenomenon. You know, you get a new idea, you don't immediately embrace it because there's anxiety, you don't know what it means, what it entails, and so on and so forth. So there's the first reaction, natural reaction, is resistance. But I think we also seen how, as colleagues were getting to grips with the theory of with the theory and practice of systems thinking, how it got to be embraced, and how even as yesterday we focused on the core business issues, but the application still remain in how we want to look at issues and so on. So we think this is a great stride, and that we must keep the momentum. Once we've overcome the first inertia, we must be able to maintain the momentum. And at some stage into the future, we must also accelerate that momentum. The second point that we also want us to live with here is that radical transformation also means for the legislative sector that years to come, we must be able to reflect and look at Durban as a departure from how we've been doing things. Many of the problems that over a period of time where we've been referring to, we've discussed, we've spoken about, surfaced, and so on, must be overcome. And this problem relate in the manner largely to the issue of planning within the sector. One of the things that we've always been saying is that, we come to the sector meetings, we go to SALSA, we go to the forums, we come to the seminar, we have resolutions, and when we get back to our institution, we work as if we've not been there. So we continue the work we've been doing. So it's like SALSA and all these other activities are more like, a by the way issues. So they bring us together, we can fly across the country, go to conferences, stay in hotels, and so on and so forth. But when we come back to our institution, there's no relationship between the things that we have done at SALSA and what our institutions are doing. And I'm saying that as a general point. There may be small exceptions, in all our legislatures. So what we basically need as part of this rupture is that we need a sector-wide plan, a sector-wide strategic plan, including a sector-wide APP, annual performance plan, that should indicate to which all legislatures must be able to respond with much more clearer targets and much more clearer outcomes, as many of the colleagues have said. Part of what makes government a bit more coherent is that they have 14 outcomes. So as they plan, all of them relate to the specific outcomes that relate to them and so on. We have the mandates, yes. We have the mandates, constitutional mandates of the things that needs to be done. But what end? What is the impact? What is the outcome that we're seeking to achieve as a sector? Now, this cannot be a matter that individual legislatures battle with. If we say we have a sector, then it means the sector must be able to develop, this plan, and that each legislature must be able to respond to the overarching plan of the sector. That will give more credence also to the issues around the memorandum of understanding. It will improve accountability. It will ensure that the work we do in the sector, or the work we do in our institution is responding to the overall work that all of us are doing in the sector. That way, each one of us, including our institutions, will also be held accountable to the things that as a sector we say must be done, must be achieved, and so on. So I thought those are the two fundamental issues that we must come out with here, and I'm not just saying we must come out with as if it's just what I think. It is what has actually come out of the reporting from the engagements that we've had and the reporting that we have spoken to. A lot of other issues that relate to support, corporate support, HR, finance, and so on and so forth, can better be addressed if we sort out our planning process from the perspective of the legislature. This will also make it possible for an engagement with the Treasury, whether at national or even at provincial levels, where we'll be talking about the outcomes that we are also seeking to achieve. So it's not just about money for, Treasury normally says, no, but your legislatures are spending a lot of money on catering, on transporting people, and so on and so forth, as if that is wrong, because it is not wrong. If you have people that you've invited for the whole day in a session, how could you not provide, meals for those? But I think also it's part of the excessiveness, the excessive nature at times on how we do those kind of things, to the detriment of the core functions of the institution. So we need to be able to have a balance. But I'm saying, we need to look at those issues in that way. So I've cut my speech by 18 pages. Now going towards the last comments. Just firstly, to once more express our sincerest gratitude to speakers and deputy speakers who graced our seminar with their presence. I think it should mean a lot to all of us that speakers and deputy speakers are showing keen interest in the issues that we are deliberating upon. And I think we must also give you some of the feedback that some of the speakers have really given, and that they believe that the seminar is successful, and they have expressed confidence in our ability to rise to the occasion. I think none other than the deputy speaker of the National Assembly expressed that view, contrary to what I was saying. Okay. The second one is really also to express our appreciation to our colleagues from our continent for also gracing us with their presence, their input, their valuable contribution. Many of them may not have spoken here in the plenary, but the feedback that we have received is also quite positive. So we look forward to more engagement. We look forward to more sharing of our experiences in order to improve the work that we are all doing. SALSA has spoken about this issue. Maybe we need to take it a bit forward about issues of exchange programs, between, including intra, within the country and also with our colleagues from the continent and the world. So we thank you very much, for staying on. I know that we had said this morning, if you feel like you don't even have to come, but you've made it, and thank you very much. It shows your commitment to this. We really appreciate it. I also want to express our sincerest appreciation to all of you as delegates, for your discipline displayed throughout the seminar, your level of engagement, the quality of the inputs that you have made in the commissions and also in plenary. It really shows that it's one of those other things what we say is a departure, from some of our previous engagement. The fact that we could start the seminar almost on time every day, is also much appreciated, and I think you should give ourselves a round of applause for that. I know they say you must not thank a fish for swimming, because if it stops swimming, it dies, But I think that it is also important to express an appreciation when we're doing the right things, because we must seek to multiply the good things that are being done, and not just focus on the wrong things. Also, sincerest appreciation to the LSS team. I think they were great guys in organizing this event, together with our colleagues from KZN. Siwe, please convey our sincerest appreciation to the team. Also thank KZN for being good hosts. The hosting has not ended though. It will still continue this evening, this afternoon and this evening. Also want to thank Parliament, for the communication and multimedia support that is being provided, the professionalism, passion and skills demonstrated about how Parliament is basically equipped. I'm sure that many of our legislature are aspiring to have capacity and quality such as what Parliament has, just in ensuring that we run this in such a professional manner. So we really thank you very much, colleagues, and thanks to the Secretary, to Parliament, Secretary to the National Assembly, Secretary to the NCOP, and all the other colleagues at those levels who have made this a success that it is. Last but not least, I also want to thank the hotel staff. We take things for granted at times. I don't know if some of you have experienced any difficulties in bookings, in how you were treated by the hotel staff and so on. I did not, and I think we should basically also express our appreciation. The quality of their service, inspires me at least to want to come back to Durban. So I hope it also inspires many of you to want to come back to Durban. As we go home to celebrate the festive period, let us also spare a thought for those of our citizens who may not be as fortunate as we are. So let us also spread the spirit of Christmas, the spirit of giving to those who are less fortunate. Let's also ensure that those of our citizens, our neighbors, our family members who may be infected with the HIV virus, are being supported, that there should be zero discrimination against people who are infected with HIV and AIDS, that we should create an environment conducive for those who may want to declare their status, to do so without any fear of discrimination. At this age and time, nobody must die from HIV/AIDS related because of denialism or because of discrimination. You know, we fought against discrimination in this country, and therefore we cannot ourselves reverse the gains that we have made about acceptance of people who are positive and so on. So we must fight against, create more awareness about issues of HIV and ensure that we all get tested. You know, we all get to know our status. You know, and if you positive, it's not a death sentence. If you're positive, you can still continue to live positively. Okay? And those that have not tested, at times, they're the most ignorant, you know, and the most discriminatory. They're the ones who call people names. And I think the advice we should always give is that we are all positive until proven negative. Okay? You know, so it's important to know our status. Even as we go into the festive period, we must continue to protect ourselves and protect those that we love, you know, against this disease, because its control is in our hands. It's about behavior. You know, it's not something that is spread into the atmosphere and so on. It's spread by human contact. So may you and your family have a joyful and Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. I think a better South Africa is in the making. A better South Africa is beckoning, and we can only be players in shaping that better South Africa. Please, as you celebrate today and tomorrow and into the future, do not drink, drive and walk. Okay? Do not drink and drive, do not drink and walk. Okay. If you drink like fish, okay, don't walk, don't drive, swim home. Okay? Colleagues, thank you very much. And there are just a few announcements that will be made by Advocate Pindela on this. Thank you very much.